Do you remember when we used to see Pogacar fighting on the bike to stay in contact with other riders and doing so in a way that made it look like he was human? You can see Roglic there just ahead on the road. Clearly the stronger rider here on this particular day. Out of the saddle, back in the saddle, but stable, using his form well. His cadence is good, whereas Pogacar's there seems to be very much speeding up and slowing down, fighting the bike a lot more. And yeah, just his style on the bike there, clearly showing fatigue. You see here Roglic, who was definitely the stronger rider in this Tour de France up until this point than Pogacar, but it was incredible to see such an incredible young, talented rider who had won 3 stages of the Vuelta the year before, now able to outperform pretty much everyone in the mountains apart from the select few who still had the edge. But he was faster than Richie Porte, he was faster than the likes of Egan Bernal, the defending champion, despite reportedly doing his best power in his career. The change between 2019 and 2020, the COVID pandemic, the form of these riders just astronomically improved. Just compare now the riding style and the form on the bike. You can see the cadence much higher and just increasing that tempo. These are the same slopes, the same stage, more or less, in terms of the final climb. And look at him just motor away from everyone else. Vingegaard drops his head down and realises he has no chance at following the wheel. Now just watch this as he progresses here and comes past Ena Rubio, another Colombian rider, much like Miguel Angel Lopez, who had won on this climb in 2020, as we just saw. But he just casually looks behind there. He looks totally different on the bike here, guys, and he's so fast. He's like a motorbike. Let's compare yet again. Just remember, obviously these were different days, different conditions, but you can just see this is a different rider. It's unrecognizable almost. The form, the improvement, the clear progression in his abilities as he matured over the following years. Incredible to see such progression, incredible to see such ability, and just making everyone else look like they're standing still. A minute and a half down here, he could have won this stage if the racing earlier in the day had played out slightly differently, but it went to Ben O'Connor on this particular day. But yeah, this was last year, guys. Do you remember this stage? But let's rewind again to 2021. Vingegaard in his first Tour de France challenge here. But look here, guys, this was the first time that we saw Vingegaard attacking Pogacar. Let's remind ourselves, Pogacar had ridden away from everyone multiple times in this Tour de France in the mountains. This double ascent of Ventoux had cracked pretty much everybody here, apart from at this point Vingegaard and Pogacar. And this was the start of a legendary rivalry that we've enjoyed watching in the years that have followed this. But yeah, this was the first weakness shown by Pogacar since 2020, since he was starting to prove himself. He'd proved himself as a winner at the Tour de France. He beat Primoz Roglic. He looked invincible in this Tour de France, but then the shoulders are rocking. The pain expression comes back that we saw in the Col de la Loze the year before, and there is distance between Vingegaard and Pogacar. The first time it was ever seen at the Tour de France that Vingegaard could do this to what looked like the greatest rider. Now, we all remember this stage. It's 2022, it's a year after, and Visma have the belief that Vingegaard can do this, that Vingegaard can challenge Pogacar, but they have to make the race difficult. It's stage 11, and guys, yet again, Pogacar had been dominating this race. He's in the yellow jersey. He has about 2 minutes of a lead on the overall standings over Vingegaard at this point. And this is Primoz Roglic now. He still is a threat in the eyes of Tadej Pogacar, and he takes the bait and he follows Roglic. And so does Geraint Thomas. So does, obviously, Vingegaard, the captain of the team. So Pogacar's starting to see the threat of Roglic now, and he decides to follow. He's on the radio, wants to know where his team are, because the race has really blown apart here. 60 k's to go. This was such, and is still, stands out as such an entertaining race day at the Tour de France. Probably the best race day in the history of the Tour de France, really, at least in my memory. But yeah, Pogacar here is isolated. He's surrounded by Roglic, Vingegaard, and Geraint Thomas. And they're in the valley between the climb they just finished and the Galibier, and they're attacking him. One after another, the attacks keep on going. They're trying to work him over. They're trying to tire him out. This was awesome to watch, guys. You remember watching this. Here's Roglic now. You can see he's just waiting to pounce, and Pogacar's looking at him. He knows another attack is coming, and he just keeps taking the bait. Do you think he should have just let Roglic go? He's not going to get far. He can just sit up. He can wait for his team, who are approaching from behind. I believe Marc Soler was behind. But here, no, Pogacar just decides, I'm going to attack you guys. I'll see you later. You guys can't do this to me. I'm too strong. He was so confident, and he rode with such confidence. You see the other riders here. They have no desire to push on. And here, he's being sensible. He's being mature. He's using his experience. This is something Pogacar didn't yet have. He didn't have a long race experience background yet. He didn't know or understand that this isn't something he has to react to. But he's just so strong. You can imagine if he had such power, such talent, you might as well use it. Fast forward, and we're now on the Col de Galibier, a very difficult high altitude climb, very long, and certainly not one to miss pace. You've got to pace this one, and particularly because it wasn't the final climb of the day, it didn't need to be raced at full throttle. But who's racing at full throttle up the Galibier? Is it Vingegaard because he needs to get time? Is it Roglic because he's trying to add another option for Visma? Or is it Geraint Thomas? Because he's not here just to finish third, is he? Well, no, guys, it is not. It is actually the leader who is outnumbered, but no longer, because he has put such an effort in here for no reason other than just to, I guess the best form of defence is attack. 44 kilometres to go, not the final climb of the day. His team are behind him, and he's just decided, I'm going to lead Vingegaard out up this climb. I'm going to give him an easy ride up this climb. I'm going to sit in front and set the pace and help Vingegaard get ready for his final summit finish. You can see here the immaturity of Tadej Pogačar. You can see his riding style here is a little bit overconfident. He is investing a lot of energy into this. His rivals have already made him exert himself more than he would have liked, or should I say more than his team would have liked, and his directors. And you can imagine maybe what his directors were saying to him at this point, but it seems like he's happy and content, setting a nice pace, a very strong pace that's strong enough to drop everyone apart from Vingegaard. He should have looked behind him, really, in retrospect, and I'm sure he knows this now. He doesn't really need to care about this now because he's so strong he can drop anyone at any point and put minutes into them. But back at this point, it wasn't possible. He had to ride maybe a bit more conservatively, but he doesn't know the meaning of conservative because he is just completely burying himself at this point, and he doesn't realise it yet. It's this infamous point, isn't there? Pogacar's smiling, he's looking confident, he's looking chill, and he does that gesture as if meaning to eat, like he's hungry. This is a bad and ominous point as we are seeing a foreshadowing of what's to come, because Pogacar clearly didn't fuel enough exerted himself too much perhaps, and he wasn't able to eat or fuel up enough to make up for that. But yeah, we hit the Granon here in the main group. Roglic does his final effort of the day. But this is the moment. Vingegaard attacks, and for a brief instant, suddenly everyone's like, oh my goodness me. But don't worry, Pogačar seems like he's closing this down. He's got Micah with him. He doesn't need to react straight away maybe. But then we see this corner, and where's Pogačar? He's not able to follow Micah's wheel, and that was the point when we realised something's wrong, and this aura of invincibility just melted away within a few pedal strokes there, and it very much became apparent that Pogačar is finished, and it worked. Everything Visma had done has actually had a payoff, and just watching and seeing him just melt, just collapse, it was incredible to see such an invincible rider suddenly fall apart, and it just proved that maybe Pogačar isn't this invincible rider. Same body language from Col de la Loze 2 years earlier, but in my opinion, Pogačar's biggest weakness was himself on this stage. He raced a bit recklessly. He didn't conserve his energy when he could have done, and he just went into the red. Anyway, 2023, we all know what happened. Vingegaard smashed Pogačar again, but Pogačar wasn't on full fitness because of an injury early in the year. But 24, Vingegaard was also not on full fitness. I see what we're getting. 13% we hit because of an accident. But the rivalry was still alive and strong because they were stuck together on this stage 15, 2024 Tour de France. And then we see here, he just leaves him behind. And this was it. This was sort of Vingegaard's big investment on this stage, with only a number of days left of competition before the end. Totally different level. Pogačar was just at a different level, and it was very apparent because he'd won the Giro a few months before this as well. Won every single mountain stage at the Giro. Just untouchable. This Tour de France, just untouchable. But yeah, what do you guys think about these tours? Do you remember them? Do you remember watching them? What were you doing? What was your initial reaction to it? Did it make you an even bigger fan of the sport? Or did it make you start questioning the legitimacy of these performances from these top riders? But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Please leave a comment, let me know what you think, and yeah, subscribe if you haven't.